today's speaker is Smaranika Jaina, the CEO and co-founder of Mindbound Creatives, an award-winning advertising and branding platform. She is skilled brand and communication strategist. Her passion towards advertisement and marketing allowed her to work with startups to Fortune 500. And she is very passionate about creating creative ideas to create holistic branding experience and marketing campaigns for all startups. So at Mindbound Creative, she focuses on collaborating with creative teams to create impactful quality content to improve brand market performance. So I think this will be a very great platform for all the startups or the entrepreneurs who are moving ahead with their enterprises. With this, I leave the platform to you, Smaranika.
Thank you so much, Nivedita. I'm very glad to be here. And I just need one favor from your side. So actually my laptop screen is showing some issues. So if you can do that presentation share from your side, so that would be really great.
Sure, ma'am. Can you just share the presentation to me?
Actually, I already have shared it. If you want, then...
I sent you an email, Cycle.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah.
So I think we have all participants across India.
Oh, wow. That's really nice.
That's great.
So once I started sharing it, I'll start my presentation and I'll start it off.
All right.
ಇದು ರೆಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಆಯ್ತು ನಾ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ಲ ಇರ್ಕೇನಾ
I would
ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ಲ
request
ಇರ್ಕೇನಾ
all the participants to be prepared with their questions. If you have any questions, just raise your hand at the end. We will have 10 or 15 minutes of
ನಿವೇದಿತ
questions.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್
So all of you ask question at the end. All right? All right, Smarika.
So we are good to go. And can you please come to the second page so that I can start speaking from there? So yeah. So this is a very basic thing. So today we are going to talk about brand and branding, and definitely what brand resilience means, right? So what a brand means. I'm going to talk about it. So I have worked with this industry for more than 2 years, and I have worked from startups to Fortune 500 companies, and I'm listening to their feedback, what they face, the challenges, and everything. They always actually they're confused about brand and branding. So brand is not a logo, and it's actually not a product or it's a promise. So basically brand is something what your customer think about you, and it's not what you think about your brand is. So it's that important, so it's that critical. So and branding, so I'll come to that point what branding is. So branding is actually a system or a tactic through which the message of a brand goes to the market or goes outside of the world. So that's what branding is. So I can summarize it. So what a brand is, so brand means what your customer think about you. It's not what you think about your brand is. And branding is a system or a signal system through which you send the message to the world. I hope that is I hope I'm audible to all the audience present over here. Can you please say something that I'm audible and I'm speaking? Can you tell me?
Yes. Yes, Maranika.
Yeah. All
Yes,
right.
ma'am. Yeah.
All right. So while we all are startups and we are all in this crisis together, and we think this is our best asset where we can show off your works and what we do. So one question I wanted to ask all our participants is, if you remove the logo from your website, is it still be the same? Is it still your company? What exactly the message you are getting from that? So So that exactly branding is. So that if you do not get that message after removing your logo, then the brand is actually a messaging part. What exactly you wanted to convey to the market is a tonality, what you said to the market, right? So that's all about brand is. So after we go forward, I will talk more about what brand and branding is. So can you please come to the third slide so I can talk more about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So here it is. So I find it very interesting. So it says, if you do not have a soul infused into your venture, will always be a product, a service, but never a brand. It's really interesting. So I wanted to give an example of it. So if you run a gym, right? So you cannot always come to your social media and say that this is my subscription and I charge 4,000 or 5,000 per month. You take my subscription. Rather, if you go to your customer and talk about the fitness, how they can be fit, maybe during the COVID, or maybe in a normal days, then people are more likely to come and they will take your subscription. So it's not always about you always talk about what your brand is. You go to somebody and you directly pitch that buy my product or buy my service, but it's more about telling people your experience, what your brand story is, what your customer feels about your brand. So that's what I mean by soul. And I hope it is completely understandable that you need to build a story behind your brand, and you need to show it to the market, what it stands for, what your tone is, and what your value systems are. Can you please come to the fourth one? Yeah, so this is really interesting now. I and my co-founder was actually thinking about what question we can ask our client during the COVID. So we come up with this 4 questions. So any startup, if you're a business or a small business or an enterprise or anybody, so if you're running business in the COVID time, you need to ask these 4 questions to your customer, to yourself. All right. So for the first question is, how the COVID-19 changed your marketing plan? I understand COVID-19 is very difficult and very challenging for all the startups. But how exactly it changed your marketing plan? Are you affected by it? Are you planning to do something else to keep your customer um, in your loop? What exactly are you doing? Are you changing your marketing plan? Are you giving any offer, any advice to your customer? What exactly are you doing for your marketing? The second question is the market ready for your goal? What are your goal is? So basically, when it is mind-bound creative, we always try to provide value to our customer through, it may be a video or maybe it is a product or service or anything. So we always focus on our goal. Uh, so do you know what your goal is? And you always think about your target market, considering to buy your product or service during and post pandemic. So if you are now selling your product or service, I understand everyone must be facing the challenges of selling your product or service in the market, and people must be reluctant to buy them right away, right? So so what it is, so how it feels like. So when you are going to the market and you are selling it to them, so how they're approaching you? Are they reluctant? How they are facing? Are they ready to take your services? Are they ready to take your product? Then it's great. If they are not, then I think you need to change some of your plans. Then I'll come to my third point. It is what changes you are bringing into your value system. So, so what your value system exactly means? So, a company or a startup, they must have a value system. They wanted the employee to be engaged, or they wanted to incorporate something into the customer, so the customer will retain. So that's what changes you are bringing into the system, so that your employee as well as your customer will be stay focused, and they stick to you. They stick to your brand. So that's what means. Then the fourth point is, what value you can provide your potential customer with the content now. You all of you must understand that this is a COVID time and we all are locked in our houses. It must be very frustrating, it must be very depressing that we all locked in our houses, and we are trying to sell our services, our product to the market. But I wanted to say that the more content we produce for our brand, it's best for us. You go to LinkedIn, you go to Facebook, you go to Twitter, the more content you put there, the more people will notice about you. So that's what I mean by adding more content to your brand, so that it will, so it would be, great for the customer as well as the outsider. They will get the awareness about your brand. So here I just want to take a pause, and I want to know if there is any question from the audience. I can answer. So the host, can you please ask the audience if they have any question, so that
Ma'am,
I'll
you
answer
can
them.
just check the chat box.
Yeah, okay.
And right now we don't have any questions.
All right, all right.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we will go ahead with the third one. Yeah.
yeah.
The fifth one we will go to. Yeah. Also, again, this is a channel matrix. You can see it. So this is a 2x2 matrix, and this is called a channel matrix. And I divided it in the 4 parts. So here is the higher impact, and the lower side is a lower impact. One is fast and flexible, and the slow and inflexible. So I'll make you understand what exactly. So when during the COVID time, it is really important that we cannot go outside, we cannot send any message to the world. So what really important is, what the best thing we can do about our brand is, we can post in social media, we can publish article about ourselves, we can do anything to notice, to get the attention of the customer, to get the attention of the outsiders, right? So it isn't found that if you're posting something on LinkedIn, it is more likely it will give the higher impact on your customer. So in this time, it is advisable to post more and more things on LinkedIn. So as it is a professional platform, you will go there, you post something, and you'll get noticed. All right. And the second thing is Instagram post and Instagram live. It's very trendy. I mean, Instagram is actually, it's been turned into a business platform, right? So when you are posting something on Instagram, or you are going live, then it's going, so basically many people will notice you, and they will got to know about your brand, right? So basically LinkedIn and Instagram are the two platforms this coming under higher impact and fast and flexible category. So that is the left side, left and upper side of that of my graph. All right. So I like all the startups to post their company, their status, or their value is their value system, and everything about it on LinkedIn and Instagram. Now I will come to higher impact, slow and inflexible group. All right. So here in this group, basically you can see here the podcast. So you must be listening to many podcasts, may it be a video podcast or a audio post podcast, anything. So it is coming under higher impact, low and inflexible group. All right. One is online editorial. You must have seen many online editorial in the newspaper and many platforms. So these are the good way to market yourself during the COVID time, but it will come under slow and inflexible. It is the chances of going to the market is a bit slow. Now I will come to the last point, that is fast and flexible and the lower impact category. That is that is the Twitter post. So definitely posting on Twitter is very effective, but if you are not putting that right hashtag, that you are not tagging the right person into it, then it's more likely to coming under the lower impact category. And I would like to tell one other thing, that is recorded question and answer. So you must have seen many companies nowadays, what they are doing is they are recording the video and they're putting the question and answer like this. So there is no interaction between like your audience and yourself. So that's how it is coming under the lower impact category. So shall I move forward to the our next slide, please? Yeah, so it is. There is probably been no better time to be able to empathize with your customer and employees who are scared, who are worried about the future, feeling restless, and we are all in the same boat. So it's really I understand everyone must be feeling this, right? So what the thing is exactly what it's trying to say. So I take it from Model B. I've given it the credit, right? So probably we there is so in this challenging time we are facing the same thing. We might be in the same we might not be in the same industry, but in a different industry. Some are from the IoT category, some are from solar sector, some are from advertising, the marketing, the consultancy group. So there are different sectors people are working on, right? So this is the best time. What you can do is you can actually go to your customer. You can actually go to your customer and you can simply ask them, what exactly are you feeling about the crisis? Is there anything I can help you with? Is there anything I can help you with creating value? There is don't sell anything to your customer. Just go and empathize with them, what they are feeling about themselves, and if they are facing any challenges, just try to solve them. All right. So this is how we all are in the same boat. Also equally try to understand the problem of the employees, what they are telling, and if they are facing any challenges in the learning process, or if they have any challenges in outside of what their professional area is. So try to understand everything. So this is what we all are in the same boat, and we need to empathize with each other because we all live with each other. That's what I believe. Let us go to the next slide, please. Yes, so I talked about branding. Now let us come to effectiveness of measuring the branding. So what I said, like the brand is basically what your customer says about you. It's not what you think your brand is, right? Your brand, you cannot think literally a brand is your logo, or it's your product is your brand, or it's not the color, or like it's the collateral that you are using. So have you ever thought of how to measure the effectiveness of branding? You might be spending thousands and thousands of rupees on your branding activity, but have you ever thought of how to measure this branding activity? Yeah, so there is actually a solution to it. I have provided this 4 points, that is satisfaction, delight, engagement, and empowerment. So this 4 things is like a ladder, right? So just a CD hota hai, this something that kind. So the lowermost category, the lowermost pillar will be called the satisfaction. So what the satisfaction is, I will tell you. You go to the mall, you go to some people or to startup, you buy their product. You are just satisfied with them. You said, yeah, I like that product, that is good. So then the upper version comes. It is the delight, right? What is delight? You buy the product, you say, yeah, it's cool, I like your product. So then you go to other people and you talk about them, then you recommend them. Then this comes the delight stage. So yeah, I hope you all must be understanding. It might sound some of the technical thing. I'm trying to make it like easy to understand. All right. So the third step I'm going to talk about is engagement. Engagement is like, when you are in a product or service sector and your customer buys from you, then are they really engaged with you? Do they belong to you? Do they advocate about your brand? Do they understand what you stand for? So their engagement comes to play. All right. And the uppermost part of the ladder is empowerment. What empowerment is? Empowerment is something you cannot live without. So you are a consumer and there is a brand up above there. So basically you are buying that product. So you cannot detach yourself from the brand. You feel like lost without them. So that is called empowerment. So the uppermost ladder is called empowerment, and the bottom of the ladder is called satisfaction. So these are the point of ROI. So where you can measure the effectiveness of a brand. I hope it is clear, and we can come to the next slide. All right. So this is something really interesting, and I really wanted to tell it to the people that design is a silent ambassador of your brand. I talk to a lot of entrepreneur and business on a day-to-day basis. They talk to me and they come to me. They tell me sometimes that they wanted to design this much of design. They wanted 20 design per month or 30 design per month. They wanted to create a video. They wanted to create this or that to for their social media post, all right. But entrepreneur, they do believe that design is important, but it is equally important to know that a good design is very important to actually reach out to the target customer. A good design means there your value should be reflected. A good design is something where you can advocate your brand, that actually empower your brand, that actually tells what your brand is. All right. So what I mean about it is, when you are talking to people, all right, so, and as an agency leader, so I talk to people most of the time. So what I found in general time is, they come to people generally talk about design. They generally, people go to Fiverr, they order their logo and they put it in the website, but they never thought if their logo is actually conveys the meaning what they exactly wanted to say about it, or if they're not, then there is something you need to work on it. So this is all about designing, and designing is very important, and because of the design we actually buy the things. um so design is that important. So I will tell you something about design in the later phase. So we will come to the next slide. Yeah, so here we come to the the main slide. So what is brand resilience, right? Brand resilience, as you can read it here, it is the ability of a brand to persevere or enhance its robustness and agility in the face of an impending or ongoing crisis is called brand resilience. I talked about it earlier. I understand everyone must be facing the same challenges like I do, like any other enterprises is doing, like Zomato, like Swiggy, like Dunzo, everyone facing, must be Oyo, everyone is facing the same challenges, right? So it's the crisis that we are into. But what steps are we taking to get out of that crisis? Is it what really, what steps are we taking? Is that really matters to our customer? What they are feeling about it. So basically, what steps are we taking to improve our process, to improve the working process? So that is called brand resilience. So we'll come to the second this point. Right, yeah. I have noted down 4 ways to build brand resilience, and things will follow. Yeah, the first and the foremost point is do what you do the best. So what you do the best means. So you are working on a certain industry, and you feel you are working on a certain industry, may it be on the solar category, or I will talk about my brand. So recently we are planning to launch a brand that is engage bound, right? And engage bound is something that name itself signifies that what it is. So we want our customer to engage with their social media, with the videos, with everything, with all the marketing effort. So we come up with the name that is engage bound, and that is aligning with our name that is mind bound. So that's how we came. So what we do the best is we do the designing, the marketing, the advertising at our best. All right. So as you can see this the slide, and it mentions that in the in this best time, every organization should have a clear purpose. In a crisis we do not survive without one, and this is not the time of grandiose or gestures that fall away of the part and the brand expertise and the purpose. And the best example is Coursera. You must have known about Coursera. That is the online platform where you can go and you can take your short-term course and everything, and you get a certification, right? So what Coursera does in this COVID time, Coursera announces it will let the university get the access of 48,000 courses for free. So giving 48,000 courses for free to the universities. So it's very phenomenal, I feel. And the second thing what they are doing is they introducing their services to the kids. So it's unlikely that some of the kids, they do not know about Coursera, but what they are doing is they're actually introducing their services to the kids. So in this time when we are all locked in a house, and we all have exposed to the internet, to the TV, and to all this kind of social media platform. So what Coursera does is they are giving the services free to the kids. So yeah, that's what Coursera is doing. So we'll come to the second slide. Yeah, so I feel this is the most important thing a brand can do. That is speak the truth. Speaking the truth is very important for any business. You might have an investor onboarded with your brand. You might not have an investor onboarded with the brand, but you have your employee who are your important assets, right? So what do you mean by speaking the truth? So in the COVID time, as we are all in the same boat and we are facing the difficulty to sell in that seat, to do what exactly we have been doing, right? So it must be a challenging task for a brand to stick with the truth. And with so many stakeholders to take care of, the truth is always the only way to guarantee the clear skies in the future. What does that mean? That means never, never, never and ever lie to your investor, to your customer, to your client. Always speak the truth. This more likely that will create your value system, and this more likely the customer will retain with your brand. So speaking the truth is very important, I feel. Let us come to the next point. Yes, this is cultivate your community. All right. And you must have been seeing many brands who are trying to create a community around them. All right. So any brand you take, by means of CSR activity or by doing any event, by doing any webinar, we are cultivating our community. So what this means is, what exactly we are giving to the customer, to the world, for free. All right. So you can read it here. It's been mentioned that the brands increasingly are the cultivator of the community, represented by the shared values, interest, and the passion. These represent an opportunity. So brand can bring people together and unite us around with a profound but also laugh. So what does this mean? I'll just give you an example. I was reading about one brand that is Yoga Walks. So what Yoga Walks is doing, Yoga Walks is a platform where they are giving access to the people of the yoga and different platforms. And so what they are doing is they are spreading the happiness. They're giving the access for free. And by that means they are cultivating a community around them. So it is equally important to cultivate a community around your startup, your brand, or your company. Let us come to the next slide. Okay, so that's where we are into Zoom. So I'll talk about it. So practice the possible. And you must have heard about like this this time. So many companies are they're cutting the salaries, and many people are they lost their job. So what companies are doing basically? So so they are taking their best possible way to adopt the changes, to adopt the new normal, right? So nowadays we are following the social distancing, and it is equally important, though we are like miles apart, but we are together in this time of crisis, right? So what Zoom or what Webex is doing is that they are doing this virtually, when they're meeting, that everything in this online community, right? So it's equally important to to adapt the changes, to adapt the new normal for your brand, and to accept the change, because change is the only constant that we are facing right away. We do not know when we are going to get out of this COVID situation, what we are going to do next. But I can tell you, if you are a startup, then you should innovate. Innovation is very important for your brand. And if you can integrate technology with your brand. So I will tell you one thing. You All of you must heard about Cure Fit or Eat Fit or Mind Fit. That's all coming into the same brand though. Yeah. So what they were doing previously is, they have the chain of gym in a physical asset they were running. But after the COVID, what they did, they brought their classes together to the online. So if you go to to their platform at 6 o'clock, you will see they're doing their yogas, they're doing their classes online. So what they are doing, that they're practicing the possible way to adapt the new normal situation during the COVID-19. So that's what this entire slide means. They practice the possible ways. So let us come to like if I have any slide left. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is a closer, and I will talk about the closer later. But I'd love to know, like, if you have any question, or if you want to talk to me about anything, I would love to share about it. You can stop this screen sharing option right away.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you can read any question, is there any? So I'd love to answer, or I can go with some topic. Yeah, you can
Okay.
tell me.
Till now, we don't have any questions, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there is an interesting, the brands are actually what they are doing is they're coming up with really innovative marketing campaign. All right, you must have heard about Burger King. I'm sure everyone must know about Burger King, what Burger King does. And Burger King as a brand, it holds a very strong value to the customer as well as to the client. So recently, during the COVID time, what they did is they come up with a very interesting campaign. So you will see in your TV screen a QR code, basically a QR code that is bouncing back in your TV screen from here to there. So what you can do is you pick your phone and you scan. If you're actually able to catch it, then you will get a free Whopper. Isn't that really interesting? So during this COVID-19, these big brands are actually taking some new initiative. They are entertaining the customer, they are engaging the customer, and they are doing their part to to connect with them. So that's how this marketing campaign are coming into play, and they are doing such fun activities. So that's how, be it a Burger King, be it BMW, or be it Audi or anything, they are doing their part so well in the COVID-19 that if you follow any of the brand, you will get to know they are really interesting. So I personally feel like Starbucks is a brand that gives value to the customer a lot. So so yeah, like I earlier I talk about story, right? You should never sell your product or service, but you should sell your stories. So what Starbucks is doing, Starbucks is telling the story to the customer. That's why Starbucks has a big following. You must have seen many coffee chain in the market, but Starbucks is like the market leader. Or people go to Starbucks, they click the photo, they upload on social media telling that, hey, I went to the Starbucks, do you know? So yeah, that's really interesting. So it's really interesting to know how Starbucks did all the things and how they exactly portrayed their brand, how they portrayed that story. And I think it's equally important for startups to know what their story is, and to tell the world that, hey, this is my story, and this value, or this is the scene I'm creating, and you should come to me. Let's talk. So yeah, that's what these brands are doing.
So, Smaranika,
So
why don't you share your branding? You have a startup yourself, and how have your journey has moved in the inception till now, and how you are attracting people, creating your own brand. I think that will get connected to the audience here.
yeah, all right. So actually, thank you, madam. So that's a very interesting question. So while we started, this brand, we try to, first of all, we generally, whenever we go to our client or to our customer, we generally try to understand what problem they are facing. Is there something else they are irritated by, or um uh, do they really don't understand what the target market is? So what they are facing. So we exactly what we try to do is we try to initiate a conversation between us and our client. Then we try to understand the issue, the problem, and we do the research. After doing the research, we come up with a strategy or a planning how exactly we can go about it. So after the strategy part, then again we come to the client and then we understand if that seems good to them. If it is good to them, then we go to the execution part. So the execution part is very important, and we always measure, like we always test the execution part. If it is fine to them, how are they feeling about it? If they're giving any result to them, all right. So during this past a few years, we have worked with Paytm, with Indian Oil, or like many startups from Odisha. So the most of the time, what I heard about the problem is they always come to us and they tell us. So there is going to be like a client pitch is happening, or they wanted to sell their product, so they wanted to make a product video, or they wanted to do the branding, they wanted to do the rebranding. So what they should do about it. So the first question I wanted to ask, generally what I ask them is, why are you doing it? I mean, so are you really clear, like why exactly you wanted to do it? So from that why, actually, I
Right.
I generally conclude like what they wanted to do, and I get my answer. Then accordingly we move forward. So that's
Essentially,
what we did. Yeah.
dots of passion, their entrepreneurship, and to branding and marketing.
Yeah. Right.
Yes. So we have a question from our participant. They want to know what is the difference between social distancing.
Sorry, social and social distancing. So yeah, I'm confused if it is falling under brand and branding. So yeah, social distancing. So I am sure you must have been following the social distancing. I can say social distancing means we all are, though we are apart in different place, but we are all in this together. So social distancing or social means something. If it is something you can relate to the brand, probably it would be better for me to answer something. Yeah, all right. It would be
Okay.
better if you can be more specific.
Right. So, with your experience, another participant is asking, what are the tips by following which we can be able to know the mindset of customers? What do you
Okay.
suggest in your experience? How do you can read the mindset of customers to create a value branding?
Okay.
And the second part, he says, how do you make the customer understand about the product? So he takes
All
it
right.
to listen to you.
All right. All right. So the first part of the question I wanted to answer. So I'm not sure if you are a B2B brand or a B2C brand. I'm assuming you are a B2B brand. So if you are a B2B brand, I wanted to tell you, if you are the person, or if you are the founder or the CEO or coming under the C category, or if you are the marketing head of your company, what matters the most is your personal brand. As a person, who you are, how you are representing your company is what really matters. So everyone must know about what brand is, what branding is. Brand is important to a company and everything, but people forget about we are a person, and we are a person and we are a brand too. So in a B2B company, branding really matters. And to answer your first question, how exactly you judge the mindset of a customer, you go to them, you talk to them, you initiate the conversation, and you ask a few questions. Why, what what they are like, why they are wanted, what they wanted to do it, why and what they are doing it, and what impact they wanted to create to the customer or create to the market, and what is the timeline, what is the target they wanted to achieve. So by answering this 3 to 4 questions, you will understand their mindset. And so if you are a B2C company, I assume personal brand doesn't matter, and what matters your company's branding. And how exactly you get that feedback from your customer is through your franchisee, your retailer. You will get to know about your mindset, and then accordingly you can improve your system, your value system. Ma'am, can you may I please know the second part of that question is, so that I can better able to answer.
So he generally wants to know how to keep the customer, make the customer listen to what he or she is saying about his product.
Okay.
How to make it interesting, how to create an interesting brand, what are the ways that you suggest them, how listening to you.
So yeah, it's very interesting actually, and we generally do the exercise within our team, how exactly we should be more appealing to our customer or to the outsider. All right. So there are a few things you can keep it in your mind. So what brand generally stands for is it creates the awareness, it advocates your brand, then it's actually tells the customer like what you stand for. So so what you can do is, for your brand, your color very matters. So you go to Google, you search about color psychology, you'll get to know that red color stands for passion, for excitement, for energy. Similarly, the orange and red, different colors stand for different things. All right. So what color you are using and what messages you are conveying to the customer, to the world, is really important. And then coming to the collateral you are using, and how exactly your website, which is a really important your the aspect of every startup. And I'm assuming you are a startup, so I'm assuming, so how, what exactly your website holds, like what your messaging your website gives. So that's really important to hold the customer, to retain the customer, and to force them to buy your product, not exactly force them, to attract them to buy your product. So yeah, I hope I answer your question.
So, at this time, everybody, if the focus of an startup is X,
Yeah.
and because of this crisis situation,
Yeah.
they all of them want to be very apt to the situation and convert their products to COVID. Let's say, how
Right.
they market and brand themselves in such small time. So one of our participant, T. Mahanti, says, he says whose operational revenues have come down tremendously, and then they have very little time to make that brand and sell it. It's a
Okay.
very challenging for many MSMEs who have, which have attended a couple of webinars. It's a great challenge. How to convert suddenly? They're doing something, and how do you really create
Okay.
in short time?
All right. So I'm not sure if actually I talked about it in my earlier slides. So I talked about a few questions you can ask yourself during this COVID time. So I'd like to show it to you again. So I think that would be more helpful. Can you please wait so that I can show? So like,
I think you need to share your screen
yeah,
again.
yeah. I'll share the screen right away.
Okay.
So these are the 4 important questions they can ask to understand to bring back the revenue. So I'm sharing. All right, so here it is. So the 4 important question, if you can go back, I think the previous slide, the previous and the previous, the questions I have removed,
Okay,
just
okay,
the
okay. Yeah,
previous slide.
yeah.
Yeah. So this one. So so I understand. Like I talked about it earlier. So so during this time, what we did is we are also equally affected by this crisis. We already have full of clients who are retained with us, like who are not buying from us. But it's always important to onboard new client with us. So there is nothing to worry about. This is a universal problem we all are facing. Be it a startup, be it an enterprise, the sales are reducing from and so it's really challenging, it's very stressful, like how you must be facing. So the first question you need to ask to your brand, to yourself, that are you changing your marketing plan? What exactly are you doing about it? So if you are changing the marketing plan, then you must figure out like what exactly you need to do, what changes you can do. So I do not know what exactly industry are you into. So whatever industry you are into, so if you can change or tweak your marketing plan, then you will get the result. Then second question you need to ask is the goal, what your goals are, how exactly you should go about it. So do you have a so any startup, so you can ask yourself, do you have a content or a marketing calendar? So I'll tell you what a content and marketing calendar is. So in our brand, in Mindbound Creatives as well, we always make a content plan or a content marketing calendar. So what that did is, we always have a plan, pre-planned, that we wanted to post this on this date, on this that we wanted to post a video, we wanted to give this message to the world. So this is how we exactly keep track of all these things, that what message is going out to the world and what goal we are into, and what is the timeline, what exactly we are taking, how we are doing. So that's really the checking point, like how we are doing. So we also ask ourselves like what changes we can bring to our value system to make customer purchase our services. So that's what you can ask yourself, that do your target market is ready to buy your product or service during and the post outbreak. So that's question you can ask. Then the third question you need to know is what changes you are bringing into. So does your employees are satisfied with you? What exactly do they need? So I always feel employees are the key to the satisfaction. I mean, they are the people who will talk to your client or to the outsider. So these are very important persons. So you also need to think about them, that what they are doing and what they are thinking about your brand. So so because they are the most important value system of your company, the internal system. All right. Then the fourth question you need to ask to your brand is what value you can add to your potential customer with the content. Now, as I said, content is the king, and many people are just putting in the content in the LinkedIn, in Facebook, in Twitter, in Instagram. They're just very overloaded with the content. But I also we are full of information, and we do not know how to exactly filter it out, and how exactly to filter it out, or how to filter the relevant information for us. So how that exactly where branding comes to play. So if your branding and your brand is, to the point, then people will notice you from, distance. So that's what branding does. And these are the 4 questions. If you ask yourself or if you ask your brand, then I'm sure you will get your answer despite of whatever industry you are into, you'll get to know about it. Yeah. I hope I'm able to answer it.
Yeah, I hope the participant is satisfied. But I think I would say I'll just give an example of a food startup that I know. So he used to pack vegetables, right? Now during COVID, people are really reluctant to take his packed vegetables. So now he's coming up with a sanitizer machine, which where the packed vegetables goes, and then you get your vegetables. So he's trying to attract the customers with adding this equipment to his earlier product. And then he has been advertising this in the social media as well. So I think social media right now is a great platform to brand yourself. Every 15 days, let something come out about your product, about your idea, about what you're thinking into the social media. So the more people you reach, the more brand you create. I think all of us are associated with some institution, whether you're a student, whether you're a professor, or you have your own enterprises. So I think we all should strive hard to create and plan that branding.
Just add, so I just wanted to add one point to your point. So that is, we should collaborate in this time. The more we collaborate with different brand, different individuals, the more value we get out of it. Just do not think about who your competitors are right away, because we all are in the same boat. We all are, in the sea. I do not know what is going to happen. But if you collaborate with our maybe it our competitor, maybe with our our individual, the surrounding. So the collaboration is the part where we can get a problem and a customer. I believe if you are if you both the startup, you are both the competitor and you are collaborating with each other, then your customer, who your end customer is, they are getting the value out of it after the collaboration. So it's not about that, but we should collaborate with each other. That's what I believe.
I think team building is a key to success. One of my colleagues has written a very good thing. She says during this time of pandemic, it's very necessary for the affected business to project their brand value in order to make people safe. And they should focus crudely on aggressive product-based marketing. So that's her take on our this. Another question is brand resilience reluctant to customer products? What is its impact?
Brand resilience. So what brand resilience means, I already said, resilience means we are all in this crisis together, like what steps we are taking to get out of it, what steps are we taking, what are we doing enough to create value for our customer, or are we creating the strategic plan for our customer to come and they speak to us? Are we inviting any dialogue with our customer? What exactly are we doing? Yeah, it's definitely this branding definitely impact your product, as I said. So it's always very important to satisfy the delight your customer, to engage with them. So I can see his question. I mean, particularly the crisis he wrote, but I wanted to understand what exactly he wanted to talk about. Can you please mention which industry are you into, so that I'll be more specific to my answer?
Pratik Das, could you say which industry do you belong to? Could you please type in Pratik Das, pharma.
All right. So pharma industry. So I believe pharma industry and this medical, and they are. Unlike other sector like the aviation sector or the travel or in the tourism sector, unlike other sector, this sectors are I guess they are doing good like any other sector. So yeah, this brand resilience matter to everybody during this COVID time, and what we can do is we should have a clarity in our mind, and the responsiveness, the consistency, what we are providing to our customer, that's what we should think about our mind, and that we should transmit to the world that, hey, this is my brand, that's what we're doing. and this is what we are doing to fight with the crisis, and let's come together and do this. So I think so that's what any brand can do to fight with the crisis, or this get rid of this situation. That's what I feel.
So he says, what is the impact, particularly in the pharma, beside pharma others will face?
Okay. So yeah, so pharma will face. I think I need to go.
I think the main, I come from a pharma background. So my take on this would be, Pratik, that, the raw materials that we were all getting from China was very cheap and, easy accessible. Right now, getting those raw material into the market is a very big crisis. And that's what the pharma industries are really, really bothering. And the government is also taking a lot of actions how they can improve this gap. So I don't know in pharma where exactly you fit in, but this is what I would say. I'm sure, let me know if I've answered your question or if you have any more.
And I also wanted to add one thing. Maybe this is not really something to his answer, but I really wanted to add this point to this, this webinar. So I wanted to talk about, mini brand, what they are doing, how they are doing. So I wanted to talk about the particular brand. It's a very popular, we all know about it, and that is Coke and Coca-Cola. You know it, right? And this Coke, this brand is, they are in this industry, in the market for more than 100 years. And they are quite, they're doing really well in this industry, this beverage industry. So, I'll just talk a simple thing about this Coke brand is, they are, they actually, they signify the brand with the color red. So which exactly signifies that energy, that emphasis, that, the enthusiasm with the brand. So, if you just, level down that from the bottle, if you remove that logo from that bottle of Coke, you'll get to know that there's a simple drink and people might not value to that much. So when you're putting that level with the logo, the color and everything, that makes sense. And we know that, yeah, this is the Coke, and we are associated with that. We get to know about it, right? So that's what branding does to every brand. And every startup should have a clear identity, or the communication system they should have with them to, to the identity system to get people know about it, so that, distant people get to know, yeah, this is this is that brand, and it has their ethics, and this is the value. So yeah, this is what I wanted to talk
adding
about.
to that, I would say, why do we buy a certain brand? We have to question ourselves. What attracts us? I think we'll get our own answers for branding our own company, or branding our own products, or branding our own research, anything on those. So Pratik, I think you said no, you haven't got your answer yet, but could you be more specific in your question? So by the time he types, I would say, I would inform all the participants that thank you all for joining us. And we also have another seminar on 21st May at 4 p.m., which is the often missed out piece of a new age entrepreneurs. All right, the details I've just put it in the chat box. Now to sum up today's seminar, I would say, branding is an important and a component of anybody's enterprise or any product that we are looking at. Because in our daily lives, when we walk into the stores, we also look at brand, starting from an oil to a toothpaste to a soap, or to what we are wearing.
Yeah.
So lastly, I wanted to say that this COVID-19 pandemic is for everyone. And this time is very unprecedented, and its impact is very huge on all of us. It's very significant with respect of any industry we are into. So in this world, in this phenomenon, the strongest brand will sell through. So what we can do is we can strive always. So the change is constant, and try to accept the change, try to adopt new method, try to adopt innovative solution to the technology, and I'm sure come out of the situation successfully. So that's all I wanted to say.